Hello, this is taking an example Excel spreadsheet from Lab number 2, Scientific Method, and showing you how to manipulate Excel stuff. So, if you can see the cursor, here it is. This is the data for one, and this is how you select it. Left key down, hold down, and just drag it down. You can unclick that, not going anywhere else. And same thing here. Now you can do a lot of stuff with this. If you notice over here, if I double click on this, this just has a number in it. We don't want to just use numbers. We want to use equations. So here's how you put an equation in. I'll go over here. I'll go back over here, put an equal sign in, and if I want to do an average, I would type the word average in. A-V-E-R-A-G-E. Notice the equations come up, or the formulas. But I'm just going to write it in myself. I'm going to put a left parenthesis in. Then I'm going to grab these things and I'm going to release it, and if I hit enter or just put the right parenthesis in, I can get the average. Now if I go to click back on here, notice it gives me the equation and it tells me where the equation is. That's a double click to see the formula. Okay, let's do it for this other one. Now standard deviation, okay, double click on that, it's just a number. How sad. So let's go back over here, put an equal sign in, go STDEV, there's your things coming up. It's got all these options, but all you need is STDEV, no .P or anything like that. Put the left parenthesis in, go up and grab your data again. And this time all you have to do is hit enter, or you can put parentheses in and ta-da, you've got that. Double click on that thing, the equation's there. It's telling you what's in it. Get out of here again. Now down here, this is interesting. You do not want to put units like that percent sign on the right side. That does not make it a pure number. Over here, you already have the word percent RSD. So these should be pure numbers. So if I double click on that, it's not a number. It's actually a character because you put a percent sign in. Okay, or it could be formatted that way somehow. But let's click away, go back in, and do an equation to figure that out. Equal sign. There you are. You're going to divide the RSD. So I walked up one step using the up arrow key. Now that's the number B8. I'm going to put a divide sign in there, and then I'm going to walk up and choose the thing I'm dividing it by, which is B7. And then I'm going to go, wait, percent have to have 100%. So you multiply it by 100, so you use this sign, that's asterisk, and just put 100 in. There you've got your equation. All you have to do now is just hit enter. Now you've got that percentage range. That is massive. Wow. Is it true? No, it isn't, because that percent sign is not just a number in there. It is a formatted thing. So let's change the format. I'm going to click in there, and I can change the format somewhere up in this area, but I'll show you how to do it easier. Put your cursor on that, highlight it, do a right click on the mouse. This brings up this drop down thing. Go to where it says Format Cells. Wait, there it is. Okay, look, you see it's got this thing called percentage highlighted right here. Now, that's not what you want. You want a general number. So we'll click here. And then it's like, wow, that's huge. But that's okay, that's fine. It works for most of the cases. Ta-da! You now really are doing the formula thing. But these numbers are too huge. Look, you've got 4 significant figures here, but you've got 6 here. That's wrong. You got to change that. So if you're not in Home button up here, click on Home. See where it is? And then walk over slowly to this area right here. You can increase the number of digits shown. You can decrease. So use that to get the correct SigFigs. Hey, let's do the same thing for this. Individually, standard deviation, we only want 2 SigFigs showing. it doesn't, the math is going to be done on all the digits you see, but to display it, that's what you want, just 2 SigFigs. And the same thing down here for percent RSD. Okay, let's drop that down, click it until you get to where you want 2 SigFigs. Great. Now we got this over here. We can do the same thing, do that, but the easier thing is to take this, hold the shift key down, use the down arrow to select. Oh my gosh, what I've done is I've highlighted that way too. You could also highlight it by doing this and dragging it down that way. Now you want to copy these equations over to this side. So you can do a number of 2 ways. You can go up here and find copy, paste. We can do that. Shortcut is Control C, Control V. But if you're not familiar with those shortcuts, let's do this copy. Copy. Now let's go over here. See how it highlighted with the ants running around it? Let's go over here where I'm going to paste it. All I have to do is click on the top part, and it will paste the rest down here if I go over here and just say paste. Now it says I have a lot of options here, and I'm just going to paste. There. Sometimes you have a lot of stuff to be pasted, and it says that. So all you have to do is go back over there and double click on paste, and you did it. Now let's check this out. I'm going to get out of the selection thing by just clicking anywhere. And I'm going to get rid of the ants by doing an escape key. Now let's go over here. See where it says average? Can you see up here? There's the equation. That's another way you can see equations. Or do what I did earlier. Double click. Tells you what's going on. Tells you where the selection is. Sometimes it's more useful that way. Okay, now you just get out of here by hitting the enter key. Go down here. You can see the equation right here. It's up here. You can go down here and look at the top when you click over here. Changes. So there you are. That's the easiest way to deal with things and putting equations in. Now let's go down to the Q test. The Q test is starting over here. This person has put things in control. These are all the things. And what they've done is they've done suspected outlier, nearest neighbor, highest value, lowest value. Perfect arrangement for doing stuff. Great. So you just got values in here. See, that's just a value up there if you look up here. And over here you can see another value and a value and a value. And so here's where you should have your equation. Just a number? Okay, well, we really should be doing the Q test. Now sometimes a Q test, it's easier to like write in the equation. I'm going to do that right here. Q. I'm going to put it over here right above it. I'm going to put the equation in. So I'm going to type in Q equals 2, let's do parentheses, let's see, I'm going to make it the suspected outlier, but it's going to be absolute value, so probably want to do absolute value, ABS, and now I'm going to put everything within these parentheses. But if you don't, the Q might be negative, but you still in your mind know it's going to be a positive number, so I'm going to skip that part. So let's go take the suspect liar. This is going to be, let's do that for this. So we're going to put in the location of that, which happens to be B12. So I would put in B12 minus, now this is numerator stuff, minus the nearest neighbor, which is this one. I can go here and I can actually select it and put it in also, but I'm not putting an equation in. I'm just writing it out like a label. So let's see, get back in here to editing it, double click, and that place over here is going to be C12. C12. Okay, now I'll close my parentheses because this is just a guidance to help me put in equations correctly. Now I have the denominator to put in, so I'll put in a left parentheses, and that's going to be the largest and the lowest value. So it's this one, and the lowest value that we found here is this one. So this one is going to be D12. Okay, kind of simple. D12 minus, so you want to have the difference between them, and this is going to be E12 also. So E12, close the parentheses. And so if I hit enter, that just gives me the guidance of what equation I'm going to put in down here. So let's do that. Let's go here for the first one. Equal sign, remember? Putting equal sign in. Now I'm just going to put in this kind of thing. I got to write it in. It's better than copying it from there. So just like we put an equation in, put your parentheses in, and instead of putting B12 in, I'm going to go over and grab B12. Put it in already. I'm going to do a subtract sign, and then I'm going to go over and grab in C12, which is right here. There, I'm building my equation. Now I better put a parenthesis in first. Never go into playing games like hitting the enter right away. Stop, think. Now I got to divide it by the denominator. This, divide sign. Okay, parentheses again. So here I put it in. Now it's D12, so let's go grab D12 right there. And let's put a negative sign in, which is a subtraction sign, and let's grab E12. Now it happens to be not seen here, but if you click on it, or if not, you don't click on it, you kind of walk over with the arrow key. Whoops, now I blew it. Now sometimes you blow it and you can still continue your equations. Now I have to type in E12, so E1, 2. So this is a good example of if I did a wrong key thing, I can still recover that equation. Look, that's the same as the top. Let's see what we get. Wow, that's a huge number. Again, we can change this, and notice I am actually changing the size of it before I do any copying. That's what I did earlier with this section. I changed the number of significant figures, then I copied it over. The significant figures copied too. Okay, so here's my equation. Double click on it. There it is. And that's what I compare to my critical value. To get out of here, simply hit enter. And it's like, wait, I want that down here, because if I double click on this, it's just a value. Here's the easiest way to do that. Click on the thing you want to copy. Grab this little corner thing, drag it down, and release it with your left mouse key. And bang, what it did was it copied down the equations. And look, in this case, the suspect liar was on the other side, so it turned negative. But who cares? It's the absolute value in your mind. So I don't care if the Q value is negative or something, because it's always absolute. Let's check this out. Double click on that. That's the equation. Okay, I can also click anywhere outside there to close it. Double click on this. There's the equation. It just happens the top and bottom are reversed so that there's going to be negative. Who cares? You still got your value. Now I can double click on it again, and it's kind of like, wait a minute, just stop double clicking, go somewhere else, click once. And that is how you do Excel for spreadsheets. Repeat this if you need. Thanks.